Been there, done that, know what's next. Life's a journey, never complex. A lifelong student, educators call. Guiding future, standing tall. Conscious parenting, full hat on tight. Drove through decades, walked away for rights. From the motion pictures to the cosmic light. Contactee's journey, universal sight. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Human experience, hang out, come along. Kids, health, synaptic circle, singing our song. Random vlogs, life stories to tell. Each journey a beacon, wishing well. We all have incredible tales to share. Healing, activation, spreading care. Light the way, find the others. What's your mission, sisters and brothers? Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Rise, humanity, unity we seek. Community sharing, synaptic circle unique. Be the solution with someone today. Assist in the rise, light the way. May the song lift whoever comes across, and may you do the same, no matter the cost. Spread the light, ignite the flame. In unity we rise, forever reclaim. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence.
Hello. I did the song intro to get my mood going, but to buy me 2 more minutes, and I found my charger. Hi, Carolyn Jane. Hi, Blazer. What's crack-a-lackin', you guys? Thank you so much for staying in touch with me and for checking in and all that good juju. I'm here. I'm in my seat. We're fine. We're good. The power's on. I would share that the skies are blue because they used to be blue, but then they decided to come do aerial sprays again. geoengineeringwatch.org. There's my first strike. So good to see you guys. Holy smokes. I'm going to walk you through the scenarios. And then, to be honest, I made a post this morning on Book of Faces about I'm going to talk about all my arsenal. And I did one of these about 4 years ago of all the different things I do. It's my first community strike on YouTube, so I'm going to try to use code words. But the funny thing is, because I started to feel a little like my son, and I don't think it was air quality wise, because it started in my throat and went in my nose starting last night. But then I think I already killed it because I feel great. So I'll let you know what I did in case you want to do the same. You crack-a-lackin'. Hi, Roger Blair. Happy to see you, sir. Thanks, Roger Blair. Thank you for that. I am, believe it or not, in good spirits. I'm in a good mood. I also, first of all, super big shout out. My apologies, because it says, other than getting the time zone wrong for Dustin and Jessica Jones, and I was an hour late to a show with them for Justin's 100th episode. Other than that, I like to think I'm pretty much a stickler with scheduling. And Andy D codes, I had to move. I'm supposed to be his guest next Friday, but it looks like we have a community gathering, a community, our community here for all what's been happening. There's going to be a get together, and I've been asked to participate and help because I'm staff. So I'm going to be doing that. And so Andy agreed to, and I'm so sorry it was last minute today, Andy. We're going to move the date. Now, he is a busy fella, so you might not see me on there till May, but I will be on there unless I swap with somebody. But I understand if not, because that was my bad. But it was one of those, my IRL, kind of played out there. Bauer, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for checking in on me, Bauer. I got those check-ins. Thank you, you guys. So yeah, with those check-ins, I'll give you the rundown. I'll give you the scoop of what's coming. I'll tell you what it feels like. I know Brown Dwarf's been doing a great job. I think he just showed that we're getting sprayed again. So before Palisades on January 7th, today is the 24th, okay? This is still going on in LA. And yes, there are still some fires burning. Watch Duty app is one of the better apps, I feel. And yes, my gal pal got me on that. And first I'm like, I kept taking it off my phone because it was giving like every single update known to man. So much so that you were just constantly like, so I took it off and then I put it back on. And anyway, I'm glad I did. So yeah, I'll give you the 2 cents and the scoops. We are home. We're fine. The Giant's actually on set today. He's on set, and it's so crazy. I have a couple other lives about those fires that went on, and then sure enough, it hit home. So if anyone doesn't know, and I know the few that are here right now know because he stayed in touch with me. But for the replay crew, my area was evacuated. Now there goes me hiding my location. But I told the Giant, I think we have to move again now. But now it's pretty obvious. So the Hughes fire just happened 2 days ago. I believe there's still a little bit going, but it's out of harm's way. No residential areas were hurt. No structures were taken. It was, but I was in the line of fire of the Hughes fire. And if you've seen any photos on the news or wherever, that huge freaking plume, that was our hood was kind of under that. So I'll kind of give the play-by-play on that. And to be honest, I felt calm, and I knew intuitively, I was like, the flames are not going to get our neighborhood. I really felt like it wasn't going to jump the highway, and I felt good. What I was getting all verklempt about, were we going to start popping off like the dews? That's what I was. There's another community strike. Giant and I were like what, yeah, smoke, at one point everything was covered in black, but yeah, smoke was an issue. But were the flames, I don't know. But was anything going to start zapping? I don't know. So there were moments of like, now the fortune we had, thanks Blazer, I'll leave that up too for a little bit. How fortunate we were compared to some community members who lost it all in the Pasadena Altadena fire is there was enough time to prepare. So we're always prepared with our go bags, but this was okay, you got some time to just pack a little bit. So that little thought is pack a little bit, meaning pack in case you can't come back ever. And that's where I learned a lot. I drove away and halfway away going, coulda, shoulda, woulda, to a lot of things. I also forgot my mouth guard. So I didn't sleep good that night. I do wear a mouth guard for my little nose breathing. So I was like, gotta prepare better. But you have to think of those things. So that was a fleeting moment of like, what if? What if we don't come back? And then freaking Giant, Mr. Martyr Man, stayed back, which annoyed me at one point when I knew it was just a blanket of black. And I was just, because I was even writing him going, okay, I know we know the things, but this might be one of those times that a muzzle would be okay. Tell me you're wearing a muzzle. He's like, nope. But he wasn't outside. Sealed up the house well, wet everything down really well. Neighborhood wet down everything well. Wait, I should backtrack here. Let's get into some storytelling. First off and foremost, everyone up here in the Santa Clarita Castaic Lake is safe. The lake area, I believe, still has a warning. I think their evacuation lifted, but not too much residential on that side of the lake. I did take my B12. This is my B12. This is what makes me zip. I'm not going to say, I already said B12, but I think I can say that online. I'm not going to say the other ones. But anyway, that's my zippy do. So backtrack a little bit. I think who reached me first? It might have been you, the Fountains, Carol and Jane. But anyway, I was in my class and I had just finished watercolor. We just painted the tree of life and did watercolor, and we were just closing down their class, getting ready to go to lunch outside when I had a knock on the door, and it was my admin, and she's like, I think your neighborhood's evacuated. There's a huge fire. And first I'm like, couldn't be. You're just like, nah, maybe she's, and I could see her with the app, the Watch Duty app. So I was like, oh. And then my thought was, so you guys know my little man, he went down that day, and I'm like, stay home and rest. He was home, but the Giant was off too. The Giant did tell me that morning, though. We didn't know when I left for work, that there was a fire. It hadn't erupted yet. But he said, I got to step away for about an hour. So when my admin told me that, I was like, please let the Giant be home. like, would this be the hour that he's gone? So I kind of close the class. I'm sitting in front of the class. I grab my phone. My assist takes over. I go in the hall and I see the pictures the Giants start sending me. And that's when I'm like, please tell me you're home. And he says, I'm 10 minutes away. So I was like, "Ugh," that's when the shoulders went up and they kind of haven't gone down since. And I was just like, oh, and I was like, okay, because the pictures were really gnarly. It was really gnarly, and so anyway, but and so I called him. No, my lady came back within minutes and she goes, you really need to go. I'll go get your daughter. And I said, I have the carpool kid. I'll take him. And let me just say goodbye to the class and assure them. Because remember, I have a boy in my class who lost everything in last fire. I didn't want to trigger them. So I came in. My assistant already saw the pictures. She knew that this was serious. And I just went, so class. And I said to my little friend, I go, we're going to collect our things and we're going to say goodbye to the class right now and we're going to go home. There is an evacuation order happening right now, and you could see some of their eyes. And I said, the Giant is home. And then they're like, okay. And I'm like, we are, we're going to go check on things. We're going to get home and get my son, and we're going to do what the first responders, tell us to do, and we're going to take care of things. And they're like, okay. And so some it went over here and others you could see them holding space, but I kept my cool and I was just like, so this is what's going to happen. And here's, why I said she'll take over and we'll talk to you guys soon. I'll be in touch with your families. And so the little boy came out with me and my daughter was in the hall and I just said, there's evacuations at our homes, you guys. And I told my little buddy, I go, I'm going to take you to your mom and we're going to go get Huck, my son. And so we get in the car and we start going. And here's the thing. I'm like a half hour away. The learning center is a half hour away from home. We're kind of in a whole nother valley. And now that obviously I'm in my location, Santa Clarita is a valley, a different valley from the others. And you have to go through this little bottleneck to get there. But even from our learning center, you could see the smoke. You could see it. And when we knew that's our hood, we were like, my poor daughter was super triggered. So she had a lot of tears, right? She had deep tears the whole way there. That was difficult. I tried to, I got some photos going in because it's not like we were driving away. We were going right into it. And then I was on the phone with my carpool buddy's mom, who really kept her cool too. She's the one who has a big biodynamic garden. So where we live, sure, there's some neighborhoods, but behind are a bunch of old estates and farms and equestrian. And, that's where our equestrian friends are. We checked in on them. Everyone had to evacuate. So, and it was really because of the smoke and then a what if it jumped. So everybody's calm, Giant's calm, that mom's calm. And we were basically like, who knows if you can get to the house. We'll meet you somewhere if you can't. But he's like, I want you to take the dog and I want you to take Huck, my son. I'm like, okay. And then we're off the phone. And then Charlie and my daughter and I keep thinking, I'm like, well, grab the chargers, grab the laptop, and then it took us what usually takes us maybe 25, 30 minutes. It was about 45 minutes. And this 45 minutes of sitting, watching it get closer and closer and closer and darker and darker and darker. So that wasn't a fun ride. That was not a fun ride. And for anyone who's thought I was making fun with my reel using the song from Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. It wasn't. It was more my tongue in cheek of, I know we live on the Ring of Fire, but it was also like, what kind of music do you put to those images? But I know people's attention spans need some music sometimes, but in the moment it made sense. My kids thought it was inappropriate after they saw it, but it makes sense to me still too, because it was kind of like this slow buildup, listening to music, watching to it as we were coming up. And I'm just like, okay, this is happening. We're in it. We're in the fire, and we got an evacuation order. This is what's happening. Hi, Daryl. Good to see you. A quick catch up. Wormwood, black walnut on oil, oregano oil. Perfect. Boom. Very good to see you. Aw, thanks, guys. So we're getting closer, and by then, Giant calls back and he's like, "Listen, you're gonna get up here. You're gonna have time. Don't stress. It's like a wall over our house. Our house was blue, and then this wall was here. So one little shift in the wind would have covered us, and that happened after we left. But in the moment, he's like, just take your time and grab what you think you need. I already put out suitcases. Aside from our just the emergency grab goes, which, medical, should things come down in these things, I'm going to be cognizant of my choice of words. So I was like, okay, but then comes that weird part. Okay, we got home. My little carpool's mom was at my house and she kept her cool and she got him and they went off to their safe place. And we exchanged loves and all this good stuff. And fist bump with my little dude. I'm like, we got this. And so anyway, we're doing our packing and my son's not feeling too well. And he's like, I don't know. And I said, I already have your go bag of clothes from before. Just to put some things in your bag, some of your favorite things. And my daughter needed her clothes. And I looked at my big old suitcase and I'm like, I didn't think sentimental, because when I look at my kids are born in the digital age. When they're babies, like, this is when I say thank God for social media. Like, all my favorite pictures I've usually shared online. So there was something in the back of my head going, I have their stuff, but I didn't think of any of my childhood stuff. So driving away, I have 2 big drawers. My mom saved like all my things. And I'm like, oh, I would have been fun to bring those, old keepsakes, my dad's ashes. Like, there's things that I was like, oh yeah. So made a note for next time. So anyway, we collected our things. And by that time, the giant had 2 coworkers come. They were at the house. They were there ready to help. So that was very cool of them. So thank you, Tyler and Mr. N. And so I got the dog and he's like, you're going to my aunt's. And she's in Camarillo. She's in Ventura County. And I was like, first I was like, okay, I go, but you're coming right after, right? And he's like, we just don't know what was going to happen. Really, long and short of it, you don't know what's going to happen. He's like, yeah. So anyway, we start leaving and we're getting in the car, and that little wall, I'm taking a picture of this wall that's already half over the neighborhood. And I'm like, the flames are not going to get us, but this smoke is not good. And I know we have like 20-year-old windows. It just felt like, I'm like, put towels in the windows, close up the blinds, whatever you can do. We were worried about the smoke stuff, but I was like, and then again, it's the thoughts of, okay, fine. If the flames don't jump the highway, oops, I'm frozen. If the flames don't jump the highway, are they going to just start going bing, 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 bing? Smart meter, smart meter, smart meter. I don't know. So kind of went this back way, which took us by the dump, which has been a problem for us. So talk about air quality issues. We've got a lot of them. And then I'm heading on the 126, and that's when it was Mad Max Armageddon. And then I'm like, stupid. We didn't look up, which is duly noted for the next time. And for my other peeps who ever by chance have to get into an evacuation scenario, if you have time, try to look up which way everything's flowing, because we basically just followed the smoke all the way. I'm sending pictures to Carol and Jane like, well, this was the mistake to go this way. And the car's smelling. And it was just like, we made a mistake. Like, and I swear we had countless offers. Community just jumped right and come to my house, come to my house, come to my house. People I haven't heard from in like 4 or 5 years because I didn't recognize their number on my phone. Like, I had a new phone. Like, that's how long, but these people knew, and they're saying, come over. So if you ever get in that position again, find which way the trajectory of at least the wind, because of the toxic smoke, and try to find a safe place the opposite way. Because we didn't do that. So we tried to go over Grimes Canyon. That was closed. There was cops there. And I go, what's happening here? We're trying to get Camarillo. And he goes, overturned semi. Later, I find out on my watch app, there was a small fire there too. So we went all the way around, went up to Ventura and around, and we get to her house, and that's it. I'm getting close to it. And there's the picture of the red sun that's in that reel. So that was all the way an hour from my house. And that's how far the smoke went all the way out to the ocean pretty much. And it was gross. Like, people were the giant's aunt thought there was a fire in her neighborhood. Cut to the next day, there was a fire in Camarillo too. So what? People, what the heck? What's that meme I posted? Like, come on, come at me. What else you got? Come on, let's go. Like, this is ridiculous. Hi, Flix Love. Good to see you. Hello. The roof is on fire is a worse choice. Blazer, I was going to do it because I loved Prodigy. I was a Prodigy girl in the 90s. And I'm like, Firestarter, yes. And I started that and like, oh, Twisted Fire startup. I mean, it is arsons and not a good choice. But there's something about Ring of Fire, man. We are on the Ring of Fire right now. So we get to Camarillo and it's pretty smoky there but Bo was really out of sorts, the dog, but we were glad we were there. Come to find out, for the next several hours, the giant stayed home. We're like, okay, Mr. Martyr. But I got some really cool intel from Hale. Hi, Trevor. Very good to see you, Trevor. Giant stay home. He said that in our hood, now I had two fishy little tinfoil things for you. Ages ago in the summer, hydrants, a truck came and drained a hydrant. And all the neighbors were putting on the neighborhood watch, like, what the F's going on? And they said they had an order to do so because of construction in the next neighborhood over. And for some reason, I mean, Giant, I think you're going to have to explain that to me again because I don't know what he meant by that. But he's saying, yeah, it's for the construction and washing away debris. But I'm watching the water just go down the hill. So that freaked me out until the Giant told me Wednesday night that he said they came and hooked up all the fire hoses to the hydrants and they're on standby. And the firemen were like, there's fire, there's water. Don't worry. They didn't drain anything. And all the neighborhood hills had, the HOA had all the sprinklers going off. So people were hosing their stuff down. The Giant's looking into those 2-story sprinklers. He wants to get a roof sprinkler now, but a lot of neighborhood left. And on the news, you can see them saying, yeah, we've been through a lot of fires, but because of what we all saw happened in Palisades and Altadena, we weren't so concerned of flames jumping. We're just concerned, what is that other stuff? What else could happen? Now, it is a relatively new space. Like I said, the old estates are behind us 5 minutes. We are the newer hoods and we're still like 25 years old. But there is a smart city not far from Magic Mountain, and we're not far from Magic Mountain. They already started building it. So do they need more land? I don't know. Anyway, but like I said, we're surrounded by first responders. By the middle of the night, the Giant is hearing from Neighborhood Watch that National Guard is in. They're letting residents in after showing proof of residency, but they were there blocking as of yesterday morning. And then I heard Mr. 47 is in town, and he right now he's talking to North Carolina, and then he's coming out here. So we're like, is he coming over here? So we're going to go walk over and see. Maybe they're keeping guard to protect, to sweep the area so that it's safe for him to come in. I don't know. Or is it because they really brought all hands on deck? I have some theories about these things. So as we know, what happened in Palisades and Altadena is tragic. What's even more tragic are the narratives and the storylines, because there was a lot of abuse of justice and abuse of power, and didn't look so good. And then when I talked to my parent, who was in the fire department and gave me that scoop, I was like, this is from the 60s, the same amount of firehouses, which is absolutely unconscionable considering how much LA has grown. The lack of, manpower, all that stuff, but it really painted a horrible picture. So then we get what's happened in the Hughes fire, and it's like a freaking Tom Cruise movie, like they're the hero. They're truly the heroes. And that's all the videos that are going out. So I'm like, is that a counter narrative? Just to remind that our stash dudes are in play and they are in control. Like, so many theories, so little time. But it really did paint that picture of, oh, we're protected. Thanks for the good guys. And we're so grateful. The neighborhood's been packing all these, fire packs, their little lunch bags and like goodie bags and, like toiletries to hand out to all them because they just going around the clock. But not one structure was taken in this Hughes fire. And it was all like, all the good guys were there. So what the F with Palisades and Altadena? Was it them organizing in a controlled burn that just happened to be huge, 50,000 people evacuating because it's in the line of fire, but they knew it wasn't going to get that far, just to bring up that narrative like, we got it, because it was so trashed the last 2 weeks? I mean, it's possibility. I know a lot of firefighters. I know families with firefighters. I know the friends, and I know how passionate they are because this has been their dream to do that. So, you remember the hair and makeup check? I haven't washed it in a long time. Okay, so that was too much information. Yeah, I think the president's on the way. Hi, Tanyan. Tanyan? Oh, it's beautiful. Tanyan Bove. Wow, we've seen some images on news and what you posted seemed huge. It was huge. I prayed for any poor people. Maybe they didn't hear the evacuate. Yes. So far, listen to this great news. 0 body count and 0 structural burn so far that I'm hearing with the Hughes one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I didn't look at it before I came on today, but he seemed totally thwarted. I tell you, those gusts kicked in so great, crazy, and it happened to aim on just the populated area. Because if you go the other way, it's totally unincorporated. There's not much over there. Really crazy stuff. Hi, Bigfoot Dwarf. How are you? Thank you, thank you. I'm glad I'm home safe too. You know what? I just saw your live because I was like, yeah, what are they doing? The skies went from royal blue clear to spraying again, and the prediction of the rain. So I'm kind of like, yeah, you guys know you can turn on those machines anytime you want. Why'd you wait this long? That's what I want to say. From a consciousness level, both is, oh, I lost it. Where'd you go? Where'd Flick's level go? Both is true and both is not true. Just saying, yeah, hearing that. I'm with you, Flick's love. I gotta like throw it all out there, because you hear it all, and then all these little things pop in. But I hear you on a consciousness level. It's all true. Kind of cool. You got pretty close though. Yeah, I was right under it. Well, under the smoke. No one in our hood was by the flames. But like I said, I have a sheriff on our street. We have first responders. Everybody left. Not everybody. The giant didn't, and a few diehards didn't. Our elder neighbors, a lot of those people. But what our neighbors were saying is like, we've been through these so many times. They said normally, even watching it and knowing those going to be really, even with those gusts of wind, to get on the other side of the lake and then jump the freeway and then start scorching the neighborhood. They said, they didn't trust it, considering we have the lake right there. They're just scooping, dumping, scooping like right there. We were worried about the smart thing and the pew pew thing. That's kind of been the vibe spreading here. People are looking things up. People watched Palisades and Altadena and went, it's not our turn. And so that's why everybody was like, we got to go. No, there's a big fire under the 10 freeway in Boyle Heights. Dwarf, is there one by you right now? Hi, Travis. Travis, how are you? Dwarf, do you have a huge one under the 10 right now? Or did I miss that? I only saw your skies, the sky trails. Did you let me know, Dwarf? Yeah, that's Charlie. What? Check in with Maria. Oh, okay. They're saying there's something under the 10 in Boyle Heights, which if I'm hearing, if it's under the 10 in Boyle Heights, that's arson. I would think, right? That would be an arson thing. Oh, Dwarf, yes. Boyle Heights. Yep. Fire. Oh, it's out. The fire's out. Okay, I got to scroll faster. Sorry, guys. Oh, yes, it was on the news just a few minutes ago. Good looking out, Bigfoot Dwarf. Okay. But just check in with her anyway, okay, hun? And all of them. And the air quality. Because, yeah, we're still up. Yeah, I can see through the blinds right now. There's something. Well, this is blue. And then I can see out of those windows, it's kind of whitish spreading. So, but that rain's coming. It's going to be so healthy. They're already telling us up by north of us, Fraser Park, that's our sled hill, that they're going to get some snow and to get your groceries now. So snow's coming. Just don't eat it. 13. Oh, thanks, Bauer. I think it might be more on my end. It looks like more, at least anyway. Oops, it didn't go to X. Thanks, Bauer. Let's have 1 acre. It's all out now. Okay. Woo, you guys are quick. You guys are good. So cutting to my next thing. So we got to Babsha, the Polish aunt, stuffed ourselves, did all this. I did not sleep. Didn't sleep good. Bo was okay. Kids were okay. My son killed whatever was bothering him. And no, I don't think this was air quality. This was an impending cold that we suppressed. I started it last night, woke up this morning like, oh, shoot. Now I feel great. So I have a feeling it has to do with a couple of these things that I will share, and I'll have to do them nicknamey wise for entertainment purposes only. Bigfoot Dwarf. Fraser Park has had some Bigfoot activity. Absolutely. Come on up and play. Let's go up there sometime. We'll do a little live up there. Oh, she didn't know. Charlie's buddy by you, Bigfoot Dwarf, didn't even know. I forgot to share something with that Palisade fire, the Altadena fire. I'm sorry, I need to share this really quick because we kind of shared it in our Sacred Council, Charlie. But unless I did on here, I don't think I did. My daughter got a call from one of her friends and I could hear it from upstairs. She was like screaming, crying. She could see it rolling over the hill. That was a torture call. First of all, my daughter handled that with such class and such grace. And at 14, I would have killed to have a friend like her at 14. She was telling her, "You'll be okay. You've got this. You're fine. You're with your parents. Is your dad there? Is your dad there? You got this. You got that truck." Like she was walking her through like an amazing friend would. So my girl is just on it. And that was, the Altadena fire 2.5 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago, when we were driving towards our house. My poor daughter was uncontrollable sobbing. And so that was my time. It's like, we got this. Put my hand on her, like, we can do this. We got this. We have Giant on the phone. He's there. He's telling us, come on up, come get stuff. We have time. It'll be okay. And she wanted to go get her ashes, her cat's ashes. And she was thinking of just these things. And it was kind of her turn to go through it. So I hope my thoughts aren't all of, yeah, they're saying Charlie with muscles. Go, Charlie. Awesome, Charlie. You're getting some love, sweet cheeks. She's just a dream. Plus, then we started, I told her, I'm checking in with the horses because you've seen some photos and you've heard from her talking about her equestrian little hangout with the farms. They're right behind us. So they safely evacuated the horses and I think they're already back. So yeah, it was really quick in that sense. So by evening, the Giant said it was Armageddon. It was Mad Max in our hood. And then by morning, but he didn't sleep well, but he's watching things. But overnight, drop, drop, drop. He caught copters and scoopers all night. In fact, I heard him all the way until the middle of last night, just constantly. And they wound up stopping, getting everything protected enough that it really will never jump. And sure enough, all of the sudden, the wind shifted. So there was a huge sigh of relief and all our warnings lifted yesterday afternoon. So that was that scoop. It was cute though, as his aunt was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna be with me all week." And I go, "We thought we were gonna move here." Like, I'm glad we have a house to go home to. But she stuffed us good and sent me home with goodies, and we went home to the Giant and I spanked him. Said, "Don't do that to me again." But I tell you, Giants do giant things. Escape from LA, yeah. We talked about, new game plans and how we would handle things differently. And like I said in the very beginning, we were blessed because we had an opportunity to, it was like watching it come and it's kind of there, but it's a slow spiel as opposed to like the little dude in my class that they couldn't even go back in his house. They ran. Never, never, never dream that kind of trauma on anybody ever. So thank you to the first responders. Thank you to whatever scenario this is playing out. Thank you to our whole neighborhood who just really are like, all the flags are out and people are just like, yeah, because they've been through a lot here. We just moved up here. It'll be 3 years in March. And yeah, it's they've had their fair share. But that was just like, what? Please give us a break. So I could not for the life of me remember the last time we had a good soak. And winter is our rainy season. Like it usually started around Halloween, definitely by Thanksgiving. We've had nothing except patterns in the sky. And apparently we have some rain coming. Every time it does, though, the daughter and I look at the radar and it's like it comes to the shore of LA and then it just goes around and it keeps going. We're like, what are they doing? So it better hit this time. And of course, we pray that the coast doesn't, there might be a slide or two, but I don't hear that it's going to be like tropical storm dump. I think it's just going to be a good soak. at least enough to put everything that's still on fire out. So yesterday, I think we counted 6 of them. So where we were staying at his aunt's, just about 10 miles away, but on the other side of the 101. So again, another freeway jump situation that we knew she'd be safe. There was another fire, and it was a University of California Channel Islands. And they contained it pretty quick because there were fire roads all around that university, but they evacuated. And that smoke started coming. So I'm like, Babsha, you going to come with us now? Like, we're going to go back home. Do you want to come with us? And she's like, I'm fine. This happens before. So we kept our eye on it. We didn't leave until we saw, okay, they got it. They got it under control. It's not going to come over here. And so we left. And it was little man was just weak, but unloading the car, realizing how much stuff we brought. And then, this is something else I needed to share. And I don't think my gal's going to watch it, but my dearest pal who lives in North Carolina they were aware of what was happening. And when I'm packing, I got this blast from her, like, hey, grab your podcasting stuff. I was like, well, I'll get my laptop. I'm like, all right. And I just grabbed my mic and my camera, and I did it. And then that night, News Nation contacted me. And hi, Justin, if you're out there, thank you for that. They contacted me to jump on a live segment the next morning. Now I didn't. I told him as much as I really want to do that, and that might have been the hit that my friend got to take the stuff. We didn't know, based on what was going to happen with my giant and what was happening with the smoke that we were in Camarillo, if we were going to have to leave again. So I didn't even know where I was going to be Thursday morning. So I politely declined. I thanked them, but I politely declined. And it was just a 5-minute segment with this gal Marnie. I don't know if anyone watches News Nation, but yeah, I kind of, I didn't do that, but I loved that hit my friend got. And then I kind of hit up some peeps that, been trying to get that scheduling going. And so we're just pushing. It's just me today, probably Lauren Sunday, and then I start my scheduling. Speaking of which, poor kid having to go through that. I know, right? Well, yeah, my kid my son wasn't feeling too hot. My kids, because they just counseled their friends for 2 weeks from the Palisades, and all our friends who lost everything in Pasadena and Altadena, they're kind of, it's been in our consciousness for so long that when it turned into, okay, wait, is this our turn, and how crazy is this going to be? I felt this calm. Like there was a calm, and I don't know if that's just for being a parent and an educator now, that when there's kids, you just have to keep it calm and keep it together and be a leader. But it was almost too calm because I didn't think of all the little things. So it was so Wednesday night when I couldn't sleep, I'm on my phone just making lists, priorities, like think of these things next time. If there's next time, hopefully not. And I knew in my heart of hearts, it is all about detachment, the surrender to let go should something happen. Watching the families in my class do that so gracefully. I mean, every penny even is gone. And they just, in order, especially to have with you have children watching, to move through it, you've got to let it go and detach it and just keep going. One foot in front of the other. Move forward. So Tanya's from Florida. We get weather, but not like that. I visited Arizona in early 2000s, sandstorms. Oh, got your car choked. Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder what side of Florida you might. I have family, some pops that are in Florida. They're Fort Myers. They're in the Gulf. And they even went through, they were in Miami when they were young, and the area, the Homestead, they went through Hurricane Andrew. So they're all constantly dealing with those. But I tell you what, I'm glad you brought that up, Tanya, because it made me think of what they recently went through with Helene. And wasn't there another one right after that? Or that was Helene. And then it went up. Well, the one that hit, Tampa really bad, and my family, Fort Myers and stuff, the way, those of us that don't live there, the way that we post news and stuff. When my cousins finally reached out to me, their voice, their frequency made me go, they're worried. Like they know they've been through worse, and they know they could be through worse. But that's what Floridians do. They're prepared. And she was just kind of felt like, wow, it's really interesting that California is really worried about us right now. And the world, the United States keeps flattening, but we're here and we're doing the preparations, but we're going to be okay, everybody. And they were okay. And so I was like, it's just really interesting how everything plays off. And then when we go to, we stayed at the giant aunt's house. She's a news gal. So she had the regular news on 24/7. And that was interesting. I kept sending the kids in the other room. I'm like, you guys know this is like a, little. And then when they get to Trump segments, oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, she, we don't have to go there with that kind of stuff, but it's so interesting what they choose to seed the population with. And when they did news stories, because it was 24, it was airing nonstop for our area. So I'm watching our areas and I'm watching these people and, the person all covered up and then just the resident walk up with not even a mask going, yeah, well, we've been through these before. I'm choosing to stay back, but my neighbors aren't considering what happened in Palisades. And then they look in the camera. So I was like, wow, it's just, what's real out there anymore, peeps? Holy smokes, Moggs, how are you? Good to see you guys. Hey, how are you? Doo-doo-doo. Yes, you are Floridian. And you've been through some hell, haven't you? You've been through a lot of things. Moggs, question for you. Some of the stuff you've gone through, do you feel people that don't live by you are more panicked than you are? Or do you feel like every time these crazy storms come in, you're like, oh gosh, is this going to be that crazy one that takes us out? Or are you just like, oh, it's another one. I just feel like not only is the weather so super manufactured, but so are our storylines and narratives and news telling. I'm curious. Oh yeah, the Wilma one. Andrew was my family had that one. Well, they've been through all of them, I guess. Oh, they're oh, okay. Yep, I hear that, Mr. Moggs. And give my best to Stevie B. At least I got to chat with you. I haven't made any plans this year so far. So speaking of Mr. Andrew Aponic, I can't wait to share his new program. It is new stuff. He's a coach, and we're coordinating our times. There was supposed to be something this weekend, and of course I didn't have time to plan it, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And then of course Andy Decodes, I had to move next week. I'm supposed to be on his, but I told him I've got to do this community build it day. It's going to be IRL, physical community gathering, and I really have to step in for those. So it was of course right at the midday there. Yeah, so Moggs, perfect. Now Moggs in Florida saying, but you have to take all the storms seriously. Absolutely. Yep. I think that's very much in alignment with here. So like I was saying, this whole neighborhood I'm in, I mean, we are in a fire zone. It's California. We're in the desert. And even our neighbors, when we moved in, it's a fire zone. That's why we have firehouse down at the end of our street. That's why, which we're very lucky. And all the first responders live here. But they say the same thing. They're like, yeah, sometimes we can feel like we can hunker it down or we can tell that things are going to shift. But even the fire departments are saying, haven't been seeing things like this and you just never know. So you have to take it. You kind of have to think worst case scenario just to be on the safe side. Again, shame on you, Giant. But he did put us first and say, let's save the children and the women. And then he researched sprinklers all night. We have sprinklers, but he's really into those roof ones now and stuff. So, but yeah, got to take it seriously. That last one was an experience. Oh, your last storm. Oh gosh. That was the last one I was speaking of then, right? Going into Tampa and everything. Trevor, amazing point. Like if the government has weather control technology, why don't they just use that to put out the fires and prevent them from happening in the first place? You're bingo, the $1 million question, Trevor. So with that, I guess that's when you usher in all the storylines of, well, what do they want to use the land for? Because it seems a little coordinated, does it not? They can sure plan out a lot of other things with this stuff. Like they're, okay, guys, here's some trails. We'll get you some rain. Although we've had trails forever and it turned into this shit show. So if you automatically see trails, doesn't automatically mean you're going to get some rain. But I'm very suspicious for entertainment purposes only. Got to keep light. So that night too, by the way, as soon as I landed safe at Bobsha's house, I wrote my families because I wanted them to tell their kids and tell the class, don't worry. And I said the carpool kid's name. He's safe with his family. I'm safe. And the giant is handling things. And I will see you guys Monday. And, I had someone sub for me on Thursday. But I know, Moggs. I'm seeing all that play out for sure. And they started to kick one in over by Magic Mountain. And they started one too by LAX. Now, not a city, but a complex, a huge complex. And I remember it being built, and I was just, telling my kids, they're like 5 and 7, like, you don't really want the smart stuff because it'll just connect wherever, and the radiation and the EMFs and the dumbing down of the citizens and so that was when I talked a lot. Got those laid down. So these usher in. So I'm very curious to see when 47 comes in, the stance that is taken, because I did hear him. The giant had one of his things playing really loud, and he was talking about how excited he is to be the president during the Olympics when they're here. I'm hoping that's a little two-facey, like saying, like, I'm saying that because I'm going to expose it. We can only hope now, can't we, at this point? Keith! Hola! Nice to see you, Keith. How are you? Thanks and welcome to the channel. Come play. Nice to see you, Keith. Yay. Keith, he was from my old tinfoil gang, my hangouts at my house and stuff. Nice to see you, Keith. And he checked in. He saw it on the news. They said they used weather manipulation in Vietnam. It's well documented. I knew that too. Hi, Clay. Good to see you, Clay. Yup. Definitely heard that too. And what's hard is you try having that conversation with a vet, because they don't ever want to feel like they went into the line of fire and it was controlled. I mean, that's just... we have a few things disclosing. What are you looking for? Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're better. Oh, wait. What'd you do? Hold on. You knocked out my camera with your energy, dude. You did? Yeah. Oh, hold on, peeps. Stand by. I think I figured it out. Once I get to the other one, here it comes. Well, yeah, so nutshell, let me get to some of those modalities, because he just ran in here and ran out, so I know he's better. Lots of rest, lots of sleep. So there's the tickle that comes from, people have to realize these big storms and hurricanes are caused by Mother Nature, so they do. Wait, people have to realize these big storms and hurricanes caused by Mother Nature, so they do. Well, not all of it is Mother Nature, though. Is that what you're saying, Travis? I believe in the weapons of mass destruction and distraction, and I do believe in that little... My philosophies are that they have been controlling and manipulating the weather for some time. I know there were some things passed in the 80s during the Reagan administration. So I think this goes back pretty far. geoengineeringwatch.org. And I know now I have the flag, and now there's going to be a CC. I can't even say it because the video will be flagged. You'll see it. They got to control their narrative. But it's so fun when I just see my regular peeps that, don't know any talking heads online, like neighborhood peeps going, yeah, and the cameras, what is that about the Palisades? They're just like dot connecting themselves, saying it's not normal, as are the fire departments. I forgot my 2 cents, but the wellness thing. So there's 2 different factors. Now, Lawrence and I talked a little bit last Sunday about the air quality and what you can do for your lungs. Mullen Leaf was... I have to watch the names. I'm going to get flagged. For entertainment purposes only, I'm not a professional, and you seek advisement of whoever the hell you want to seek. Hopefully it's through your intuition and your gut and yourself, because sovereignty wins, but seek whoever you want to seek. I'm not a doctor. There, how's that for entertainment purposes only, Blazer? Mullen Leaf I like. I'm not a fan of the teas. I think the teas are too diluted. Although if I drink tea, I drink my moringa, my age reversal tea. But this is the concentrate. Now, this was awesome. If anyone remembers Neil Castle Dude, who totally ditched us and fell off the face of the earth, screw you, Neil, even though I'm wearing my little beavers. This stuff was great. After my big crazy last round of sickness, that cleared my lungs up within 24 hours. So if we're going to go that route of cloudy things and crap, zeolite, that's a good detox of the heavy metals. My whole thing is whatever they're putting out there, we don't want to be a conduit. We don't want shit pinging through us. turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Be careful how many heavy metals are in your body or how you consume, because we are now just a walking. I have to be careful of my words, and I hate that. I know I'm on Rumble over there too, but I'm still trying to save my YouTube. So just we don't want to ping against around each other. So, and be mindful of all that heavy metal in you. I also know, and based on people I literally talk to, how Alzheimer's dementia can be reversed if you clear those heavy metals and fill up with healthy fats. Entertainment purposes only. When it is crazy sky-ish thing, the good old iodine, the iodine with kelp, that's a good one. But that kind of helps pull out that little radiation thing in my experience. Then when I get really into it, thank you to my dear Lexi Eisenhower, who I've recently got in contact with again. I do my chlorine dioxide. I'll have to screenshot. I can share more about that in a minute. Yeah, I'll leave that on there. You're right. But when the sickies come on, and I told you my B12 is my magic energy thing. This I bring, I just like this kind of brand, and I refrigerate it, and we all take it, the whole family. But when my little dude, when it's just starting, not the quality, but like a germ bug, I go hardcore with this. Very hardcore. That will burn the F out of you if you don't do it like a college frat boy. So I put like a whole shooter and a little bit of water. I go, like, you take that sucker back. Not like a hot toya, but you take it back. You take that all the way without letting it touch your lips because it will burn. Yeah, I went there. And then good old D's, as many D's as you can. Well, all right, for entertainment purposes only. That's what I say. But my thing, I don't have the bottle. So funny, I have a Tupperware of them, and I'll just share what's in them because I gave the bottle to Babsha, the Polish aunt, when she wasn't feeling well and Christmas. And it's a bottle they make now with quercetin, CD, zinc, elderberry, and it's like all in one spiel. And that is, I took 2 last night, 2 this morning. Boom, feeling better. So is my little dude. So all family. How is that? And I, you know, it's so funny. After I got that bottle at Christmas time, because I wanted it just on our shelves, because I did never seen it all together in the one form, and it's a brand I trust. And when it is so many in one form, I wonder if it gets diluted a little bit. But I'll make my own quercetin. Can't never say it right, with the orange and lemon rinds and things. But this was like handy dandy. So I got it. And then come to find out, everyone has the little sniffle over the holidays. And I go back to Amazon. You can't find it. It's out of stock. So I'm like, next time I see it, I'm going to get a couple. So homemade elderberry is even better. I don't have the patience, Jane. I have too many channels to mod. I do like the quick fix. So there you go. And oh my goodness, hydration. I got a little liquid IV in there, just extra hydration. So leaving yesterday or 2 days ago now, all the caffeine and everything was gross. And that's was protect your lungs. Just protect your lungs and switch to edibles if you have to. Might not be the best time to have flour around if you're struggling with the air quality. Do what you got to do. So how's that for my 2 cents? Well, there you go. There you have it. This is where we are. We're here. I'm happy we're here. Honestly, when I was leaving, I didn't think I was going to leave and not be able to come back to our house. I just didn't feel we were going to be a target. And that's why that whole little narrative storyline of like, well, let us show them how we really do it and handle it, how the department really handles things. And they did. I don't think they would ever do it. I'm correcting myself before I say it because anything's possible these days. But as many fire department people as I know their hands are tied most of the time. And they're just doing what they can do based on limited resources and being defunded every freaking quarter or semester or however it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, craziness right there. If I put this off, so I want to see if he just answered just so I can give a date. Because I know Andrew's been wanting to, he's got something new to promote too. And I'm excited to share his new stuff. But I wanted to see, oh, is it going to be tomorrow or not? And I guess it's too quick. I did tell him I want to advert. Okay, so scratch everything I just said. We're safe. We're good. We learned a lot about what to bring, what not to bring. We learned trust your intuition and your gut. And the other thing, and I think I shared this before with the last fires that happened, even though it wasn't our neighborhood. When we're packing our car, you just saw all the cars were out. Like people had friends come and stuff and just load things. I became aware of how little I know everybody. I mean, waves are one thing, and we are cordial with our neighbors. We swap chickens and things and food. But I don't know enough neighbors enough. And I think in my last live, I shared that. I shared that I want my kids to know some more people so that if something happens, like what if the giant wasn't home? And what ifs that was the hardest drive coming home and seeing the smoke and knowing my son's under there, but I'm over here. Should he had been alone and the giant wasn't around, what if he was on set? Well, I did have mom friends call and say, didn't you say Heck was home? Do you need me to go home? And I'm like, no, the giant's there. But just knowing if he could have a trusted adult to go to. I also think, and he didn't tell me because he didn't want to scare me, but I think that's why the Giants buddies came. I think he was yelling at them, someone's got to get there before me to get to Huck. How the hell? I know, Moggs. So I don't know if you saw I don't think you saw my last live. One of my parents in my class is in the department he's been for 30 years. He said just a week before Palisades, it's true that Mayor Bass was defunding 18 million. Like it was true. The second, he also said, as soon as she got in office, defund. She just was pushing the proposals on them. She totally knew this was a coordinated attack. That's what I feel. Because why just them, right? With the first thing you do, like I saw with all the things Trump's doing when he gets in office right away. But when our mayor got in the office, fire departments, it was like, okay. And then this rollout, not cool. So I'm a little stashed in all the different department heads, I call them stashed. I see most of them I meet have mustaches, except that parent. They watched the defunding. Moggs, they also told me that since the 60s, they have had in Los Angeles County the same amount of firehouses that they've had since the 60s. They never built more. Now, I kind of correct that one because the one where I am, that is pretty new. I think that's 25, 30 years maybe. But he said the rest had been around since the 60s. Now, that is not equipped to handle the way we've populated ourselves since the 60s. That's just it's crazy to me. So he's basically was in the line of fire trying to pick up his daughter and still drop her off and go back to work, saying like they're beyond frustrated. This is bigger than it is, but they didn't have time to put anything together. They're literally short-staffed for forever. They've constantly had short staff, not just because of the mandates. And, I know a lot of department people. I know firemen in particular too. Just like Hollywood, when Hollywood reopened deemed essential, everyone went back with the fake cards. Lot of them. I have to watch what I say. And the same goes with the department thing. So there was a way to get around those with people just moving through. I personally don't and won't because I find that to be an energetic cord, even if it's a fib. The giant got a fake one because it's a cord. It's still like a contract. You're agreeing to those mandates in place, and I don't. So I'm like, nope, walk away. But diehard fire department dudes, they don't. They're like they can't lose their job. They're taking care of their families. So a lot of them didn't refuse and walk away. Some did back alley shit and got fake cards. That's what happened here the last 5 years. Hi, Kira. Nice to see you, sweetheart. I'm so glad I'm here. I was not here a little while ago. Oh, yes, I'm glad you are, Kira. So yeah, around here, I don't know if you saw, I was evacuated, came back. Our neighborhood's safe. We are very lucky. And it also played out very different than the Palisades in Altadena. Our guys were on it. We had the National Guard here. Like, why didn't that happen for the Palisades? And then if you heard my lives before, Moggs, I don't know if you're still here or if you knew this, but a location scout telling us like September, October, with nothing conspiratorial about him at all, just pointing out the fact of how many for sale signs were in Malibu and Palisades. And I just noted, I go, watch, I bet something's going to happen to Malibu and Palisades in the next few months. And boom. So how many of them got a heads up? We didn't get heads up. We didn't get heads up. In fact, it was business as usual. I went to work, I went to the learning center, and by I think 10:30 or 11, it started. And they're saying arson because it's unincorporated where it started. They're saying arson, and then when I went to went to Camarillo, one started there, and now they're saying arson. So I think that arson thing, there's some wheels to that. What's the term? There's something for that. Time for officials to play Sim City and only get the job when they're good at that. That's a good one, Flix Love. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yes, Moggs. We had the water. They were just like, just scoop. Scoopers went all for 2 days straight. And they were using the lake for Palisades. We had the things with the guys flying over. That's a crazy distance, though. But they were trying to use the lake for that. The winds were nuts that day. They kicked up right when we left to go to the learning center, and we're like, this is crazy. So as soon as whatever happened on that hillside, it's no wonder it went up. If anyone's ever seen the videos of me in the boat and us going around the boat, I never quite labeled it, but that is Castaic Lake. And it is a lot of dry brush, and it is vacant. It's a kind of an easy area to go whoosh to. Kind of crazy. And then the other side, it's the training ground for the California lifeguards. Huge fire station up there. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Rosie. Nice to see you, hon. I think oh, you're so cute. I'm trying, Rosie. I'm trying my best. This was the next level to navigate with them because, here I am, the guardian, the teacher, and I had to leave early for evacuation. So some were like this and others were like, can we go recess? But being that I love tech, I get to reach out to the whole class on Telegram and just be like, tell everyone Miss Heidi's safe. And I have the dog. And I have the kids, and tell him the giant is safe too. And he's protecting the house right now because it's okay for him to be there. I don't want them to think if you get a mandatory evacuation, you should stay like a giant, a stubborn Polish giant. But I did get to keep up with them in that sense. And I'm sure we'll have a little careshare sacred council in the morning Monday because my little buddy in class, not the one who lost everything in Altadena, but my carpool buddy, he had to do mandatory evacuation too. And we kept our cool. And God bless the admin. She's such an angel on earth because honestly, I never would have checked my phone for like another hour because we were winding down. We had to do this transition to get everybody out for lunch recess. I get my things ready. Like there's steps I do until I'm like, can sit down and go, okay, let me catch up. And so even that's when I told my son who was sick for the hour the giant had to leave home, I go, just stay in touch with him. And thank goodness they had their own communication going on because when I got to my phone, it's my son going, Mom, the sky's black. And then the next text, don't worry, marching called. He's almost here. Oh, Mom, there's a big fire. Oh, Mom, now there's a mandatory evacuation. Like I got his stuff and oh, my heart. If the giant wasn't there, I just would have lost my shit. I would have been one of those Marge Simpsons driving on the side of the road, just make my own road all the way home. It was a long ride home. The fires in Oregon 2020, we tracked arson as well. People were sharing videos of people doing it. It was nuts. There were riots happening in Portland where people were provided with piles of bricks. Yeah, that's happened a lot in places. I remember the piles of brick stuff. I actually was a boots on the ground for that on Ventura. When I used to live by Van Nuys, I was driving, I got to get my hair cut, and I saw some of those brick piles on Ventura in Sherman Oaks, Studio City, a very affluent part of Ventura Boulevard. And was I with you, Charlie? I don't remember, but I went live with that one and I said, this is fishy. I go, be careful, Ventura. And I was filming the businesses that were along there saying, this isn't supposed to be here. Someone tried to debunk me saying it was like there was a Jewish temple around there and they're rebuilding something. And I was just like, this is what's going on in the news right now. And there's bricks along Ventura Boulevard. So I don't think so. It was crazy time. So we have to be the boots on the street at this point, honestly. Even if it's not, I mean, you don't want to be spreading incorrect information as facts, but you can share your observation and your perspective and your experience. And it's up to people to put it together or to say that resonates, that doesn't resonate. Thank you, Kira. I know. I think this whole Hughes fire, we all were lucky. I think that the unlucky are still the Palisades and Altadena. And I was just telling Andy Decodes, we have a gathering coming up to support all those that, fundraising and all that is going to support everybody that's lost things. We also, all the moms right now, all my mom pals, whether they're in tinfoil or not, all my mom pals are doing this big in-breath of like, and they're like just polishing their shields and like, okay, what's next? What do we really easy for people who don't live in these scenarios to say, just leave. It's really easy to say that, but the logistics behind just leave for a lot of people, it doesn't work. Some of us have roots. Some of us have the families. Some of us are the leaders and they can't leave. Some of us have nowhere to go. Some of us don't have a dime to piss on, let alone how they're going to travel. And they don't want to start fundraising to pay for me to leave. Like there's just a way that you're just kind of like navigating what's next. And so we're all mama bear in it right now, going like this around our babies. Like, okay, come on. Now we have been doing that since 2016 when our medical rights and our choices got taken away. So not much new there. However, when it comes to something like this, quakes, fires, disasters, not choices, like medical choices, it gets a little more overwhelming. And you're like, am I prepared for this? Am I going to make the right choices in a moment's notice? Am I going to do the right thing? And that's when you got to do some prep. You got to prep your shit. You got to plan it out. I've said, I don't know, Kara, how far you saw. Ooh, my ear's ringing really hard right now. What is that? Who just popped in? Who's cloaked? Woo! Someone's coming. Unless they just pinged me. That threw me off. What I was sharing before, Kira, is what I had wished I had done different is I have a new list that I'm going to give myself for emergency packing. And that is if you have time, if you don't have much time, and if you have no time. And the no time stuff is always packed, but it needs to always be updated. Make sure you're not out of date with your water supplies. Make sure you don't have diapers in there if your kids are out of diapers, even though they'd be good gauze. Like, update your stuff, but keep up. If you're in Cali, you usually just have permanent go bags. And then that medium time, like you got 15 minutes, have that list. And then you got about an hour. What are you going to do if you could never come back? I'm sorry, I'm wording it like that. I know it's weird, but we got to go there. So this is important info that we're archiving for future gens. Faux show. You're right. Yeah. Thanks, Joe Fox. Hi, Joe Fox. Yes, review it once a year, Kira. And then what I was sharing is I took so many weird things. And I'm like, I did take the t-shirt a little girl gave me. I had my Midwest and my Chiro sweatshirts. I mean, I took my cozy clothes, but then I'm like, and I knew all my kids' sentimental stuff. A lot was online. But I also knew, I got my books so I could plan my lesson plan for next week. Like I was thinking there. But I forgot like my night guard. I forgot all my sentimental things. So yeah, I would do things just a little bit different. The plants, there's so many things, but what do you do? So after even thinking of all the different storylines and narratives that can go along with this, I'm going to get a little woo because there is something to be said for the energetic loosh bombs and energetic blasts of love. Got some really, really good, strong, hardcore love bombs Wednesday and Thursday. And like I'm talking, people are calling me singing, doing rain dances. People are saying, I'm sitting in a prayer group right now for you. Someone else is like, what's your address? We're going to blast it. I gave the general area. Some people were like, I mean, it was a love blast. And, you know, thank goodness we weren't on, we're not on the calendar for the city. I don't think, I have to look that one up. Carol told me to do that and I didn't do it yet, but I don't think we're not on that, right? Yeah. Anyway, planning for the worst, hoping for the best, and keeping your frequency at a safe enough level to keep you safe, to make good choices. So, like I said, the thing I would have changed is going, okay, like even just looking, what direction is this going, and go a different way, because I kind of went with the flow of the smoke. There were 2-3 ways I could go. I just didn't think for the life of me that would have traveled that far that fast. That's what they're saying. How fast that smoke traveled was crazy. The winds were nuts. Food, water. Hi, Angel Wings. Food, water, essential clothing. Most important. Make a thumb drive of all your family photos. Include your most favorite things in a photo. Perfect. What I was sharing is I was so lucky to know even social media. I mean, I can even hack into MySpace, man, way before kids. My favorite pictures I always shared socially. So I feel like a lot is online. However, looking at them now, I still have my old yearbooks. I have photo books, all that kind of stuff you think to share. Oh boy, I haven't even looked in there. So with that being said, we're okay. We're well. We're recovered. The kids are great. And the community, that was my last little bit. Just Jane and Gerald and Blazer. I mean, you've all, and Juan's not here. He was checking in. People that aren't even on here have been checking in. The community check-in that's offline is where it's like, oh, you all have taken a moment in some way or another to connect with me offline, not just when I'm doing live. And I really thank you for that. It felt good to know there's a team of people going, sending protection and just keeping their eyes out for us, making sure we're safe. That feels really good. And trust and know that I will do the same with you. Oh, hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Nice to see you. Good to see you, Aaron. We made it. So I want to keep my eyes on the sky. Since we've been talking, this is still blue. I have windows white out. So whatever was sprayed already spread. So that's white. This is good. So I have that wall again. What the heck? We don't have winds kicking up. So the rain that's proposed went from, okay, we hope it's going to happen, to it's getting a little more serious and the percentages are higher. And they're even forewarning that Fraser Park's kind of like the next bit up. And that's where, if we want to sled, they're warning of snow, a big snow dump. Woohoo, we go sledding, to get your groceries and everything. So I think they're serious about this one. Most of those times that we have seen this front come in, it's like it comes to a wall in LA and it just goes around. You can see that on the radar. We've seen that in like, even in the fall, there were a couple moments of like, oh, good, here comes the start of, the end of fall, early winter. And it cuts to like the Santa Monica Mountains, or, kind of the Los Angeles forest area where we are. It just goes around. We're like, how do they do that? But also, so maybe there's been enough heat put on Eyes on Cali. Watch the water. Maybe there's been enough heat on Cali that they're like, all right, let's just give them a little bit sprinkle. I mean, and we know Mr. Trump's going to be here. Wow, glad you're safe. I had a mini emergency myself last night. Nothing like the fire, but lost my alternator 40 minutes from home in -5 degrees. Luckily, it was in a store parking lot. Were you driving? What do you mean? So it fell out? Do you know what is that word? There's something that, okay, so, one more little tidbit I was going to share, because is this why National Guard came? I can't figure out that National Guard story yet, other than, is it because Trump's coming? Is it because they did things the right way? The fire didn't spread? Or is it the looting? Because my giant said part of his reason of staying home and talking to the neighbors after we left is because of this sanctuary thing happening. I didn't know this in my neighborhood watch, but we had a lot of transients get placed in around the lake. Like there's a hotels over there. Remember Disclosure Fest was coming and I kept saying I was supposed to volunteer there because it's kind of in my backyard. That's Castaic Lake, where because Disclosure Fest was going to be. But the fire that was way up the 5 by Gorman and Fraser Park was too intense that the air quality, they couldn't hold on that festival anymore. I think it's a Jimmy Church thing. And anyway, I was curious because that's when I heard the rumblings of it, that people online were like, why there? Because the hotels are full with transients and stuff. So are there payoffs for fires? Like, I don't know. But I was going somewhere else with that. Oh, the looting. We always felt that we're far enough away and up and Truman Show style a little bit that we won't have riffraff. But there's been a lot of riffraff lately. People have had some cars broken into, and now everyone and their mother has the Ring cameras, which I hate. But I get it now, and I'm fine with it. Especially when we can catch bobcats and stuff walking up to our door. But the looting, the giant set heard some neighbors going, you know what? I think I'm going to stay back because of the looting. And we're like all the way up here, and it set something off in the giant. And so we're like, is that why the National Guard came? Because there wound up being no looting. And was the looting coming from the transients that were placed here that a lot of residents were unaware of? There's a lot of fish in the air. Let's just say that. That's my last conspiratorial drop. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Oh, that name's familiar. I'm supposed to get to know you, aren't I? I wonder which Bach flowers the system needs. Oh my gosh, I had Bach. Where's my tin? I had Bach flower for the class. I could create a profile for the system. Does it have a name? Is there a zip code? I could enter through coordinates and send Bach flowers and breathe free and tuning forks to it. Oh, that's really cool, Teresa. Thank you so much. The Castaic Lake area, I don't know if it might be 91384. That's so sweet. That's so funny. I took that. I had one of those Bach flower droppers I was going to share because we've given that to Bo the dog, and the Bach flower lozenge the kids will have. And they even offered it when we went back to class in session after the Altadena fires, when our community was really hit from that. A lot of sad stories. They offered to have the Bach flower lozenges in the classes, and there's a big homeopathic regimen that was given to us of all the different things, tinctures you can take for your lungs and things. So our classrooms are outfitted with all this natural stuff. I love Bach flower. But my son he had so much Bach flower before his tongue surgery too. That's really sweet of you. So I don't know if that helps. 91384, if you focus on Castaic Lake. Yeah, do you think it's for the looting mogs, the National Guard? It might be, because guess what? It definitely it stopped. I mean, it didn't get up here like we thought it would. There's a lot more people left than they said usually do. Your alternator stopped working completely and battery wouldn't hold a charge. I went shopping, came out, wouldn't start, had to wait for my dad, 2 hours in the store. Oh yes, thank God you were at a store then. You weren't on the highway or anything. Aw, and dad's for the win. Go dad. I miss my dad. I was calling on him when all this was happening. I'm like, please stay with the giant and help him. They let me hang out in the breezeway even after they closed till my dad got there. Aw, that's awesome. Chivalry is a thing, right? That's what I'm noticing with these traumatic events. 3 weeks of them now here in LA, that the humanity rising, it can't be stopped. It's beyond what news shares. It's beyond even what I can share. I think a lot of us, even Brown Throat, we're sharing that what's happening in our communities. And I think he'll agree, when you're offline, it's the community check-ins. It's the, how can we help? It's me having to tell Andy Deco, I got to reschedule because the community in real life is like, we got to just rally and get these people into a home. And it sucks that maybe it took tragedy to do that. It's taken, really a series of horrible events to do it, but it's also part of the disclosure, because people, I mean, like I said, I'm super red, like this territory. I don't even play the 2-party system, but this area is very aware that New Scum was placed in, not voted in. And they are loud about it. So it's really helpful for me to see some affluent areas that are bought. speak up now and be like, hey, why'd you defund the fire department? Or hey, new scum, we saw the video of the reservoir in Palisades 6 months ago when there was a small fire there and it was empty and we were going to do something about it then. You had all this time, you didn't do anything. People that don't talk, people that don't say what the F's going on are saying what the F's going on. So there's a little bit of optimism and hopium there, I guess, that there's more than usual going, something's not right. And I appreciate that. And with my mama bears, it's a little less, oh my God, my babies, and more like, my babies, let me protect my babies. So come on, mama bears. Oh, bye, Tanya. I'm going to head out soon too. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for playing. I'll be on live, I think, unless he says anything, Sunday live with Lawrence at 5:30. I'll follow up with him, my little protocols, and we'll probably talk about the air quality up here and what happened and things and what the schools are doing about stuff. Because remember, he's got one foot in the door with the schools, helping out them. So yes, we will tune into all that stuff. Thanks. Oh, an hour 20. Jeez Louise. All right, I'm gonna head. Now I'm frozen. So with that being said, now I'm finally looking. Sorry, peeps. I think it's time to shower. Thank you. Thank you to this community. Thank you for the check-ins. Thank you for the concern. Thank you for understanding when I'm available and when I'm not. Thank you, Andy, for rescheduling. And yeah, thank you very much for, keeping your frequency high, right, Jane? And all that crazy good stuff. We are super blessed to be back in our neighborhood, considering what happened 2 to 3 weeks ago in Palisades and Altadena. So, I mean, let's keep our eyes in the sky. Let's keep our boots on the ground, and let's pay attention to our surroundings. This game of chess, this whole big old thing, the show, all that stuff's playing out in front of us, and there's innocent people that are losing. They're losing their homes, some are losing their health, some are losing their mind. So the more we can do, I know some people really hate not believing in the love and light. I was one of them, but I felt it the last 48 hours and I'm sitting in my house. So there's something to be said for keeping the right frame of mind. I know everyone is deeply concerned and watching a smart rollout, but if you can try a little magic trick for me and try not picturing a smart city, picturing picture old California, Google images of the 60s, 70s, 80s, the golden age in California and what it was like and what it felt like and the healthy vibes and the healthy sun and the healthy skies and the beautiful sacred terrain. Picture that. Picture yourself there. Picture me running around there. And, we are co-creating everything that's to come. And they want the minions all picturing their doomsday timeline so that it'll roll out. So let's not let it roll out. That's my hippy dippy 2 cents for the day. So there you go. Keep your vibration high. Absolutely. Besos. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for your support with this. So yeah, you know the drill, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But more than anything, thanks for building friendships with me. So that's been very special. So thank you. My little tears are coming. Okay. We're doing all right. Thank you guys. Bye. More to come.